What is good, dev gods? I'm back with another tutorial, man. This one is let me just give you a little backstory. All right, so you know I was working with Unreal Control Rig and trying to get that to function correctly where I can make first person animations inside the engine and blah blah blah. All in all, I just found that that workflow wasn't going to be as proficient for my actual pipeline as I thought it would be, mainly because it's lacking a lot of tools. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I ended up finding, and this is something that I've been looking at for a while, just haven't dove into it yet. KineFX with Houdini is really revolutionary when it comes to rigging. It's basically rigging for people who aren't Maya trained professional riggers or people who aren't Blender riggers. You know what I mean? It's straightforward. The nodes are, they tell you exactly what they're going to do. It's super clean. And I recently ran into a developer by the name of what's his name? What's his name? Camille. Man, I don't know how I found this dude. I was just looking up KineFX information on YouTube and Google, and he popped up. And this man developed a bunch of Python scripts that make rigging and KineFX similar to how you would rig in regular bone rigging inside of Houdini, meaning you could rig inside of SOPs network, and then you could create object level controls that give you a cleaner and more concise uh, animation graph, and you just, it's something that you're used to. I learned how to rig in Houdini with the bones, so that's why I wasn't even messing with KineFX. I was like, what is this? It don't even make sense. The bones are so much easier, but this it takes the cake. Um, I'm gonna show you how to get it all set up, and I'm gonna walk you through the project. Um, he has some videos on his YouTube channel. I'll leave the link to his videos in the description. But he doesn't have a comment section, so you can't ask questions. So I ran into some problems today, and I had to figure them out for myself. And basically, what I'm gonna do is show you guys that problem and how I fixed it. So let's get right into it. This is another raw tutorial, man. Um, you know how I do. You know how I fucking do. But yeah, you want to go to GitHub and you want to just search KineFX. Search KineFX. Look for the first thing that pops up right there. It'll take you to his repository, and you want to go ahead and download the zip or however you get the repository onto your computer. You need to do that how you do it. I use GitKraken, and I just clone the URL. So your first step is that when you finish downloading that, go to wherever you saved it at, and you need to take all of these Python scripts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you need to drag them into your Houdini Python 27 directory or your own custom Houdini Python directory. You can set that up. I actually don't know how to set up a custom. I just know how to put scripts in here. Um, I'm not a Houdini pro by any means. I'm still learning myself. But yeah, you need to take those scripts and drag them into here. The next thing you need to do is take this .h file and you need to bring it into the include folder and copy it into there. And the last thing you will have to do is go to wherever your directory is for your HDAs. It'll either, the base one I think is in your documents folder, but if you set up your environment variables like I have, and you made a custom folder for your HDAs, you go ahead, copy all of this and drag it into that custom folder or the base folder inside the documents. Then from there, you want to go ahead and just open up this start hip file, and we'll walk you through how to get everything going. I just basically walked you through the steps that he has on here, The steps don't tell you to do exactly what I told you to do. They kind of leave some things up in the air. It just says to copy that one Python script into there, but you need to copy all of them. Trust me, it'll crash Houdini. And then you want to go into that hip file and look at what you got right here. You got, this is one of his custom HDAs that's just setting up control geometry for later on when we add our controls. Go into your rig. He made a skeleton just how you would make a skeleton inside of KineFX. Start with a skeleton node. Let's get a good look at this. Start with a skeleton node. He dropped out he created his skeleton just by dragging points. He went in and renamed all his points. And then he oriented the bones so that you see, look at this. He made it so positive X faces towards positive X. And I don't know why he did these like this. They must be different bones. But he just oriented the bones a specific way. You look at the difference. I still need to learn about bone orientation. I don't understand it exactly. A lot of my rigs come already pre-rigged, and then I just add the controls to them and I animate from there. And then he went ahead and skeleton mirrored it across the x-axis, and you set a null so you can have a cleaner graph. And basically how he's doing is he's breaking down piece by piece the bone highlight, the roots, the spine, the hip bone. In his final file, he has the leg, the arms, and he has that all separated. So you go in here, all he does is blast out the nodes that he wants to keep and delete non-selected. If you look at that, it just looks like this. Then he creates an attribute where he appends IK control to the joints. So what he does is take this part off and append IK control to the back of it. And then he does the same thing for the FK controls, because your FK controls are going to be in the same spot as your IK controls. They just do different things. So next thing he does is merges these two together so that you can kind of work with all of them. And right before he gets into the tutorial part of his video, he shows that he reparents the IK to the FK so that say you move the IK here, the FK will follow, or vice versa. If you move the FK arm, if you rotate it up, the IK won't stay over here, it'll rotate up with the FK. And from there, he has his own custom rig VOP, attribute VOP, and this is basically a IK solver for a spline. I tried to use the built-in IK chains. It didn't work like I would have expected to, but I think it does work. I was trying to run through the tutorial and figure out everything as clean as I could, as close as I could to him, so that I could redo the steps in my own rig. But basically how this works is he takes the original spine, and that goes into the first input, and the second input is the controls. So it's just like the IK chain. It's just like that. So actually, I'm gonna create a rig pose so we can test it when we do it. And so second right there, and we can go in here, and you can see if I want to grab the FIK, it doesn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh yeah, okay. I missed a big step. So he has a custom node called attach control geometry, which is basically uh, the attached control geometry all bundled up into one node, so you can have the controls and not have a messy graph. So basically, you want to just use the controls library, and this is that controls SOP that you need to have inside of every rig. I forgot to export relative path, but you need to have this inside the OBJ network view so that you could reference it inside of this uh, SOP node right here. You create a control and you just go ahead and select all your IK chain, and you can select one of the pre-made controls that he has here. He uses the rectangle XYZ, and the scale is pretty, it's pretty small. So you gotta go in there and change that up. Make sure it's not negative. Excuse me. This is raw, by the way. You know how I do, man. I don't do no editing and shit. You know what I'm saying? We going at it raw, no rub. You do the same thing for the FK chain as well. So you go ahead and you need to change this to be the FK chain, and change this to circle. And you can change the color so you can see them different from each other. Just gonna wrap around whatever mesh he has. He does it like that. So now let's see if that rig pose will work. You see it's controlling that's the FK right there, controlling it, and turn that on. But yeah, there's also a solution to a problem where you see how the spine, this new one, is offset from the original spine. And what he does is he adds a what is it called, a joint apply offset, and it has 3 inputs. The first one is the joints you want to apply the offset to, and that's this right here. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. The second one is the rest pose of the original skeleton, which is up there. And then you have to go in and stash where the rig is posed right now into a rig stash node. So you got to restore and stash it and stash the input. And then you just drag that into there. And you pretty much got it. One-to-one now. It still shows both because, it's still 2 different spawns. They haven't been merged into to the rest of the skeleton. But yeah, if you look, like say I set we could set that like that. You see it does that. But if I didn't do this it's kind of weird. The bones are offset completely wrong. But yeah, from there, all you do is merge. What is that? Yeah, all you do is merge this into the skeleton so that it's all together now. You see it doesn't have that crazy double skeleton. Just it applies it to the base skeleton now. And yeah, that's pretty much how you set up the skeleton part of it. But the biggest thing, and you can get rid of this now. This is just, the rig pose is just for testing. I had a whole setup where the rig pose was like, I had to use that. I had to highlight it to get into the control the attached geometry control, and then I would move it, set the key, and you can't select inside. Like right now, you can't select. You can only select the points. So it's kind of like, damn, I can't move quickly, and that was one of my biggest issues. So I'm super glad that I found this um, tool set, man. The next thing is actually creating the object controls. And before I run this, man, I want to show y'all a big problem that I ran into. You see this piece of code I added here? Inside of the README that he gives you, right? He tells you if you want to create your own button, you need to go ahead and import this from this. But if you didn't make a custom folder, you just import the Python script directly from your own directory, and then it says do control create object controls dot run, and run is a function inside of this Python script, and I'll go to it on the this the GitHub. So if I look for run, you can see, right? It told us to just put dot run, but run takes in a parameter, and this automatically sets the controls network, which is a variable that they're using in here, to none. So if you didn't pass in anything like I did, it'll keep giving you a error. I'm gonna show you what the error is. It'll just apply, accept that. So say I was like, all right, I'm ready to add my controls. I hit my button and it says, what? None type object has no attribute type. And then it gives you the second line of the model you created, which is the script, the little Python shell that you put inside of there. It gives you line 432 inside of the Python script and line 412. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't know Python like that. But I went back to the old repositories, and he doesn't have, like, one of the old ones doesn't have a run, doesn't have a parameter. It just runs. But he added a parameter for some reason, and basically, sorry, all you have to do is add that. This is the path to the OBJ context, and if you got that, it'll work fine. It tells you in the console that it created all of these controls, and one of the big things he says in the README is after you create the controls is to get rid of to just mute these. You don't need them anymore. You could still work with them, right? You can still go in here and edit these. It's like, say I was like, oh shit, I moved too fast, and I don't want any of the scale parameters to be visible on my object level control. So I change that. I go back to my object, context. I'll delete all of these, and then I'll go back in and I'll run the script again. So we could just delete these nodes, and then you just run the script again. And now, if you look at this, the scale parameter is locked, and when you set a key, it won't key the scale, which will clean up your animation graph a lot. So we go back to and you see it drops the nodes for you. Highlight them, press L, and there's another big script that he has in there where you can automatically attach, so when you rig, you normally bring these up to the top of the HDA so that you could edit the values, like tweak the values as much as you want. So he created a script, and it's called right here. Let's go back. It's called attach controls. Oh no, it's called promote. It's actually inside of here. It's a function called promote selected controls, and all it does is takes the selected nodes, and it says if you got an HDA, it'll promote the control to whatever node that you pass in to the HDA, and that gives you controls on the top fucking level of your rig. So if you create an HDA, so just to show you guys an error that I ran into too is oh yeah, when you run when you run this this script on this, it automatically creates this group inside of the object context to where you can select all the controls real fast. Save you a lot of time. So if you hit promote controls, right, it'll say none type, and it's like, what is that? And it's not clear. I should put some errors inside the Python script, like if you don't have an HDA selected, or if you don't have an HDA, you need to create an HDA, and that'll guide people, because I had to figure it out. Like I had to pause for a minute, like, what the oh, I don't have an HDA. And it's like a lot of people ain't gonna just figure that part out. So I have no control over the repository. I really wanted to I don't know how to do pull requests or anything like that. Like I'm not a program guru or anything like that. I'm learning this shit, man. It's crazy. But yeah, you just create a subnet, call it what you want. Call it temp rig, and you go ahead and create a digital asset out of that. Save it inside of your directory where you have your digital assets at. Go to mine and go ahead and save that just to have it as HDA. First thing you want to do is definitely hide these parameters that you won't be using. And now if I go in and select all the controls and run that script, it runs, right? So now, top of my HDA, oh shit. Let me do that again. Promote. I don't know why that's not working. Oh, okay, it did work. I just didn't have it on the right folder. Why is it still here? I thought I hid this stuff. Oh, I didn't apply it. That's why. Type properties. Invisible, apply, accept. Okay, I was confused. See, this is raw, baby. But yeah, it worked. So you got your IK translation, you got your IK rotation, you got everything you need right there. And it lets you know the bone that it's connected to. And this is all automated in Python, man. I'm going to review his script so that I could learn Python a little bit better. And now you see, like, you can go in here and bring up your transform tool. You can move this. Oh, okay. You see how the rig is moving slow? Like it's laggy. That's because I forgot to turn off the, I keep doing that. So I forgot to turn off these. That apparently really bogs the system down. So yeah, we go here, and let me visualize the entire skeleton. go here, bring up our translate tool, and add a key. Go here, bring my selection tool again, select this, bring it up to transform tool, add a key. I press the wrong button. And now you see, oh, whoops, selection. I got a key for this control, and I could keep going. Let's just bring it down, I guess. Let's bring them up like that. So the animation looks sort of like that. And we can even add a key for this control right here, where it kind of like sits them down. That way we just have more motion. That'll be like breathing. And if I go to my animation, you can go in here, select whichever control you have animation on. You can see it's a beautiful thing. Go to the graph editor. You can solo space G. You see that doesn't have anything, so you could just zero this out, because it's like a number. Whenever the number has like that EAF at the end of it, it's just zero. But you see the only things you got animation on right here. You go in, electric key, you can mess with the timing, and you can also it's like you can go in and select both of your things. That way you can really get in here and get to animating, man. Now they say the graph editor and Maya is better, which you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna lie. I mess with Maya because I'm using it in school. It does look better, but once you learn a graph editor, it's a graph editor. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's pretty much it right there. Now you got a KineFX rig with object level controls to animate. And man, that makes everything so much easier, man. Oh man. So I don't even know how long this video is, man. Let me look. We 28 minutes in, man. I feel like damn. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Go to the links in the description to find that man Camille's YouTube channel. Subscribe to him. Tell his ass to turn his comments on, so I don't have to spend 3 hours trying to figure out some shit that was simple as adding a string to a path. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about how simple that actually is, it makes you feel dumb that it took 3 hours. But yeah, go ahead, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to keep giving you guys more content. Look, whenever I figure some shit out that's really confusing to me, I always try to make a raw ass tutorial showing the steps on how I figured it out. So we're gonna keep that going. I'm still learning. I'm about to get into some 3D modeling soon, so it's about to get crazy, baby. But yeah, man, I'm out of here.